The moment the judge looked up from my deed then at the HOA's community cabin photos, I knew someone's story was about to collapse. Brenda Whitmore, our Homeowners Association president, was still standing there like she owned the room, until the gavel hit and the courtroom went dead quiet. By the time the clerk said the words referred for further review, Brenda's face did this slow, angry melt like a microwave mistake you can't undo. It started way earlier out in the trees behind my place in Pine Hollow Acres. My dad left me this land, and I'm not the type to treat property lines like a vibe. One morning I'm walking the back edge like I always do, coffee in hand, boots in the mud, thinking about nothing. Then I see something that doesn't belong in the woods, straight edges, fresh lumber, shiny metal roof catching the sun. A cabin, not a shed, not a deer blind, a whole cabin. At first I honestly thought I'd taken a wrong turn. Then I opened my survey on my phone, matched it to the markers, and just stared because the cabin was clearly on my side. Not maybe, not kinda, on my land. I did what any normal person does when they're trying not to end up on a neighborhood Facebook page as unhinged guy with a chainsaw. I documented everything. Pictures, video, GPS, pins, the whole thing. Then I posted 3 signs along the path leading in private property, no trespassing, and one that basically said in polite legal English, "Don't make me call somebody." That afternoon, my camera caught the first glimpse of Brenda. She wasn't alone, 2 guys behind her like backup dancers for entitlement. She marched right up, read my sign, and tore it off the post like it was junk mail. Then she snapped, "Get rid of the rest of these. They're an eyesore." An eyesore? On my land. Okay. The next day she came to my front door, smile-tight hair, perfect, carrying a clipboard like it gave her superpowers. "Hi, Jake," she said like we were friends. "That cabin is for the community. It's been a Pine Hollow tradition." I leaned on the doorframe and said, "Cool. Show me the vote, the permit, or the easement. Anything official." Her smile didn't move, but her eyes did. "The Homeowners Association handles it. You don't need to worry about the details." I actually laughed because I thought she was joking. She wasn't. By that evening, another clip hit my phone. Brenda and her crew yanking down my remaining signs, twisting the wire off the posts, tossing them into the brush like trash. No hesitation, no shame. Just casual trespassing like it was part of her morning routine. So I sent a certified letter to Cedar Grove HOA. 30 days to remove the cabin, restore anything disturbed, and stop entering my property. I kept it simple, factual. No insults, no threats. Just, "This is my land, this is your structure, fix it." Brenda responded the way people like her always do, by going public. An email blast went out to the entire neighborhood painting me as the villain who hates community and refuses to support shared amenities. Shared amenities, on my land. Suddenly, my friendly neighbors were doing that awkward driveway wave like they weren't sure if I was still safe to talk to. Someone even shouted, "Why are you being difficult?" as if I'd stolen my own property from the group. Then things got uglier. I put up a simple fence line and replaced the signs, this time with a camera pointed straight down the trail. That night, the motion alerts woke me up around 2 a.m. 2 figures. Hoodies, flashlight beams. One of them had bolt cutters. They snipped the fence, stepped right through, and walked toward the cabin like they had a key to my life. The next morning, the fence was damaged, the posts were bent, and somebody had kicked dirt over the corner markers. That's when I stopped treating it like neighborhood drama and started treating it like a record. I called the sheriff's office, filed a report, and gave them the footage. The deputy didn't look shocked. He looked tired, like he'd seen this exact brand of suburban nonsense before. He said, "You'd be amazed what people think a homeowners association can do." I said, "Apparently whatever they want." For a couple weeks it was this slow grind. More emails, more passive-aggressive notes. Brenda even had someone stick a violation warning on my door claiming my hostile signage was against HOA standards. I remember standing there reading it, holding a piece of paper that had zero authority on my land, and feeling my patience drain out of my body. I'm not proud of it. But there was a night I sat at my kitchen table staring at the paperwork, thinking about lawyer bills and lost time and how easy it would be to just let it go. Not because I believed Brenda, but because fighting her felt like trying to shovel water out of a pool. Then the practical part of my brain kicked in. If I let one cabin slide, what's next? A community garden on my yard. A walking trail through my back porch. That's what lit the fuse again. Not pride protection. And then the twist hit. I got a message from a guy named Mark Reynolds. I'd seen him around quiet, keeps his lawn perfect, never involved in anything. He said, "Jake, I was on the board last year. There was never a vote for that cabin." I stared at my phone for a long second. "Never, never," he replied. Brenda pushed it through herself. She told everyone the documents were handled. They weren't. That changed everything, because it meant this wasn't a misunderstanding, it was a power grab. Mark offered to put it in writing. He also mentioned something even better, the board meeting minutes Brenda kept forgetting to share. So I didn't argue on email threads anymore. I built a clean file survey deed, certified letter receipts, sheriff reports, timestamps, footage, and Mark's statement. When day 31 came, the cabin was still there. No removal, no contact, just silence, like they were daring me. So I hired a licensed crew, not my buddies with hammers professionals. I told them, document everything. Take it apart carefully. Don't damage anything that isn't necessary. We filmed the whole process. Panels off roof sections, down lumber stacked, hardware bagged. Then we moved the materials to the edge of the property line on the HOA side and left an itemized invoice for removal and cleanup. Brenda showed up mid-job like a storm in a beige SUV. She jumped out holding her phone up, recording, yelling, "Stop, stop right now. You're destroying community property." I didn't match her volume. I just held up my survey and said, "Brenda, you built it on my land. You got my letter. You had 30 days. She got close. Way too close, like proximity was a strategy. "You'll regret this," she hissed, eyes wide, voice sharp. "The HOA will sue you into the ground." I said, "Then do it. But bring the paperwork you never had." 2 weeks later, I got served. Cedar Grove HOA was suing me for damages, claiming I destroyed a shared structure and interfered with community use. Their evidence was a blurry map with no coordinates and a lot of confident words. My evidence was reality. The day in court felt like walking into a play where I already knew who forgot their lines. Brenda showed up in a crisp blazer carrying binders like props, smiling at people like she was running for mayor. When it was her turn, she did what she always did, talked like authority was proof. "The cabin served the neighborhood," she told the judge. Mr. Miller acted out of spite. Then my attorney slid the deed across the table. The judge looked at it, then looked at Brenda. "Is there an easement recorded for this structure?" Brenda blinked. "The HOA has long-standing rights." The judge cut in calm as ice. "Recorded. Easement." Brenda tried to pivot. The board approved, and that's when Mark's statement landed. Meeting minutes. No vote, no approval. My attorney asked permission to play video. The judge nodded. On the screen, Brenda ripping down my signs. Brenda pointing and ordering people to remove them. The nighttime footage, 2 people cutting my fence. Not a mystery, not a rumor. Clear enough that you could pause it and see the confidence in their movements. Brenda's face tightened. She tried to deny it anyway, like denial was a reflex. My attorney asked, "Is that you instructing others to remove signage on Mr. Miller's private property?" Brenda said, I don't recall." The judge leaned forward slightly. "Ms. Whitmore, that appears to be you." Brenda doubled down, and that was her mistake. She started talking faster, stacking excuses, contradicting herself. First it was community land, then it was historical use, then it was temporary access. The judge listened, then looked down at the deed again, like he wanted to make sure he wasn't living in the twilight zone. He finally said Mr. Miller had the right to remove an unauthorized structure from his property. The plaintiff's claim is dismissed. Brenda's mouth opened, no sound came out. Then the judge added, "Still even. And given the evidence presented regarding trespass and vandalism, this matter will be referred for further review." That was the gavel moment, the quiet, the shift. Brenda didn't explode in the courtroom. She didn't have to. You could see it, her power draining out in real time, because for the first time her title meant nothing. I walked out without celebrating, without a speech, without looking back at her. I just felt something settle into place, like the world had finally agreed with the truth I'd been holding the whole time. Lesson learned. If you don't protect your boundaries, someone like Brenda will treat them like a suggestion.